Good morning, students. Today's topic is about the leukemia. What does leukemia mean? Leukemia. In the leukemia, there is a neoplastic proliferation of the hematolymphoid cells. Neoplastic proliferation of the hematolymphoid cells. Under the hematolymphoid cells, all the formed elements of the blood come. Now, in this, what happens? There is genetic events are going through, and there is a malignant transformation of the cells. Ultimately, it will give rise to the particular clone, and this clone will transform into their progeny also. The leukemia are of two types: acute leukemia and as chronic. Here, don't confuse with the word acute. Acute means of early onset and chronic means late onset. Acute leukemia is related with the something blast percentage. In acute leukemia, the percentage of the blast, according to the WHO classification, is more than 20%, and according to the FAB classification, the blast percentage is more than 30%. This is according to the FAB classification, and this is according to the WHO classification. Then we will give the word acute leukemia. This is all about the percentage of the blast. Acute leukemia are of two types: acute myeloid leukemia and acute lymphoid leukemia. Now, chronic leukemia are of two types: CML and CLL. This I am giving only the broad classification. In detail, I will tell you what are the broad category of the WHO hematolymphoid neoplasm. I will tell you in detail. So, here my aim is to tell you what does this word myeloid means. And the second thing is, where all these AML, ALL, CML and CLL stand in the hematolymphoid cell neoplasm. Where does this category comes? So for knowing about the myeloid, we have to see the hierarchy of the cell. What is the hierarchy? Means how these cells develop. How the all formed elements of the blood develop. For the hierarchy, you have to see all the blood cells are developing from the pluripotent cell, that is hematopoietic stem cells, will give rise to the multipotent progenitor cell. This multipotent progenitor cell will give rise to the early progenitor cells. But here comes early progenitor cells of myeloid lineage, and here comes the early progenitor cells of lymphoid lineage. So all the cells of the hematolymphoid cells except lymphocytes are coming under the myeloid. So via this, the progeny of this category will give rise to the all cells like RBC, platelet, all the WBC except lymphocytes. So this will give rise to the colony forming unit, and again colony forming unit have three categories. It is of megakaryocytic, erythroblastic and basophilic. And here comes eosinophilic, granulocytic and monocytic. So ultimately, via the early progenitor cells of the myeloid lineage, all the cells except lymphocytes are developing. And here, this will give rise to the pro-T cell, pro-B cell and pro-NK cell. And further, will give rise to the pre-T cell, pre-B cell and pre-NK cell. And finally, will give rise to the mature cell, that is mature T, mature B and mature NK cell, and these are giving to the platelet, to the RBC, via the basophiloblasts will give rise to the basophil. So what is the new in your classification according to the Robbins? Latest addition is there in the colony forming unit of megakaryocytic series and erythrocytic series. This basophil also come under this category. In older classification, this basophil is not here, but basophil category is under the category of the colony forming unit basophil. This is the main aim, and you all, up So now you have cleared about under the myeloid lineage all the cells are coming except lymphocyte. This is all about the hierarchy of the cell. Now I will tell you the WHO hematolymphoid malignancy. So I am telling you now today about the hematolymphoid neoplasm. It is of two types, myeloid neoplasm and lymphoid neoplasm. So this is all about the hematolymphoid neoplasm, WHO classification. Now myeloid neoplasm will contain the categories like first is myeloproliferative neoplasm, and this word neoplasm, myeloproliferative neoplasm, is being added in WHO 2008 classification because there were three modifications were there. WHO classification 2 comes first, then followed by 2008 and 2016. The latest one being is 2016 WHO classification, and it is not added in your textbook here. So I will tell you all the classification, what are the new modalities has been come in this step by step. So this word neoplasm has been added in 2008 classification. Otherwise in the previous one the word was myeloproliferative disease instead of the word neoplasm. Now second entity is myeloproliferative neoplasm oblique myeloproliferative disease. Same thing, this neoplasm is added in 2008 classification. Now number 3 is MDS, myelodysplastic syndrome. Fourth one is acute myeloid leukemia with precursor neoplasm. Fifth one being is biphenotypic. This word biphenotypic has been replaced in 2008 with acute leukemia of ambiguous lineage. So word acute leukemia of ambiguous lineage was there in 2008, followed by same in 2016 classification. So these 5 modalities was there in 2002 classification. The additional one being added here in 2008 one being is myeloid neoplasm oblique lymphoid neoplasm associated with recurrent genetic abnormality of PDGFRB, FGRI and PCMCheck2 GACK2 mutation. So this entire entity was named as subcategory 2, and this was added in 2008 classification. This was not there at all in 2002 classification. And what is being added in 2016? This word JAK2, rearrangement of the JAK2 and PCM mutation was there in 2016. So this entity was added in 2016, other was in 2008. And the word ambiguous was there in 2008 as well as 2016. So there are further subcategories of all these entities. So step by step I am taking all. So in myeloproliferative neoplasm, further categories are chronic myeloid leukemia, chronic neutrophilic leukemia, chronic eosinophilic leukemia. This chronic myeloid leukemia has got 922, that is PCR ABL translocation. This is gene, and these are the level of the chromosome. 922 at the level of the 9 number of the chromosome, and this is 22 number of the chromosome, and these are the gene. PCR has been translocated to ABL. So CML, that is chronic myeloid leukemia, is associated with this genetic translocation. The other one is chronic neutrophilic leukemia, chronic eosinophilic leukemia. Likewise, other one is polycythemia vera, essential thrombocytosis, primary myelofibrosis, primary myelofibrosis, and other one being is last one is mastocytosis. So all these are there in entity of myeloproliferative. These are the sub entities or the subgroup under the category of the myeloproliferative neoplasm. So what is the new in 2008 and what is new in 2016? The word mastocytosis. mastocytosis is being added in WHO 8 classification. It was not there at all in 2002 classification. And further subentities are the mastocytosis, that is acute mast, because it is related with the mast cell. So mast cell leukemia, sarcoma, cutaneous mastocytosis, all these things will be there in the mastocytosis. And what is new in 2016 classification? It is about the 2008. What is new? In myelofibrosis, it is of two stages. Pre-fibrotic stage, pre-fibrotic as well as overt fibrotic. Overt fibrotic. This is added in 2016 classification. So this is all about myeloproliferative neoplasm. The other one, entire entity is being added in 2008. The third one being that it became the third, it became 4, 5 and 6. Now this myeloproliferative neoplasm MDS has got further subentities like chronic myelomonocytic leukemia, atypical CML, juvenile myelomonocytic leukemia, and myeloid neoplasm unclassified, refractory anemia with ring sideroblast associated with the thrombocytosis. This is there in this number 3 category. This is MPN/MDS. So these are the subcategories of this third one, that is CMML, that is chronic myelomonocytic leukemia. This was there in 2002, 8 and 2016 classification, but these last one are not there in 2002. This word was added. These three were added in 2008, and the last one was added in 2016 classification. Why it is called atypical CML? Atypical CML because normal CML has got BCR-ABL translocation, but this CML has not associated with the BCR-ABL translocation. And the BCR-ABL is characteristic for CML, but still it is not there in this, so it is called atypical CML. Now MDS. MDS has got further subcategories. I will take the separate lecture on the MDS, but still I am telling you MDS with unilineage dysphasia, MDS with multilineage dysphasia, MDS with ring sideroblast, MDS with unilineage dysphasia and ring sideroblast, MDS with multilineage dysphasia and ring sideroblast, MDS with isolated deletion of the 5q. This is chromosome number. There is a deletion of the 5q is there. And the last one, that is 2016. What is the new in 2016? Is there? It is childhood. Refractory cytopenia associated with the childhood. And myeloid oblique lymphoid neoplasm associated with the germline predisposition. So this thing was being added in 2016 classification. This is new. Now I will tell you detail about the AML because there is a long note over AML. So up to now you have clear idea where does AML stand, where does this CML stand in your classification. So AML is as a separate entity of the myeloid neoplasm and CML is under the subcategory of the myeloproliferative neoplasm because these two are myeloid. This one being acute myeloid neoplasm, this one being chronic myeloid neoplasm. Now I am telling you detail about AML. So we are starting with the AML classification. AML has got so many categories. One of them is AML with recurrent genetic abnormality. AML not otherwise specified. AML associated with the Down syndrome. AML associated with the MDS, then therapy related AML, then associated with the then myeloid sarcoma, and finally plasmacytoid the categories of the AML. AML related to the genetic abnormality, not otherwise specified. Down syndrome means when there is genetic abnormality, there are more chances of AML. When there is a MDS secondary, there is a development of the AML. When we are giving therapy for the one reason, secondly, there is a development of the AML and myelosarcoma tissue related AML and the blastic plasmacytoid and dendritic cell neoplasm. Now, in the recurrent genetic abnormality, there are so many genetic rearrangement are there, like translocation H21. It is called M2 in fact classification. Here the translocation is of the gene RUNX1 and RUNXT11. Then translocation of 1517, that is PML-RARA. It is called M3 in fact classification. Now M4, that is inversion 60. It is CBFB-MYH. Now other one being translocation of 69, that is gene of Beck. Now inversion 3 associated with the GATA2. Now other one is mutate. Other one is the megakaryocytic. 112 translocation associated with the megakaryocyte. And there is a then mutation of the NPM1, mutation of the CEDPA. Now, what is the recent in the 2016 classification? Recent one being is there is a mutated. This one is normal, and there is a mutated RUNX1 and associated with the BCR-ABL. BCR-ABL. These are the latest. These are the latest in AML according to 2016 classification. What are the categories coming under the AML not otherwise specified is minimally differentiated AML, AML without maturation, AML with maturation. Then come the myelomonocytic leukemia. Come the monocytic leukemia. Now erythroleukemia, megakaryocytic leukemia, and acute, and then comes the acute basophilic leukemia and panmyelosis. All are coming under the NOS. So this up to here it is resembling the FACT classification of the WHO. These two things are not there in the FACT classification, and additionally there is a promyelocytic leukemia. Why it is not here? Because it is here in 1517. That is PML-RAR. So it is promyelocytic leukemia, and that is being added in FACT classification. Now AML related to the Down syndrome, I already told you these are the genetic mutations. Now coming to the next one this is the fifth categories of the AML. Now this is the fifth category of the myeloproliferative neoplasm. The sixth one being is already I covered the MDS, AML. Then only ambiguous lineage is there. Ambiguous means there are two biphenotypic, means mixed phenotypic leukemia is there. So this is all about the myeloid neoplasm. So coming to the lymphoid neoplasm. Now coming to the lymphoid neoplasm. WHO classification of the lymphoid neoplasm. It has got two categories: precursor and mature neoplasm and precursor neoplasm. Under the category of the precursor neoplasm comes the B lymphoblastic leukemia oblique lymphoma and T lymphoblastic leukemia oblique lymphoma. And the B lymphoblastic leukemia has got further two types, just like AML. It is associated with the recurrent genetic abnormality and not otherwise specified. Lymphoid neoplasm divided into the two, precursor and the mature. Precursor means immature form, and immature has got B lymphoblastic leukemia oblique lymphoma. T lymphoblastic means lineage is of B cell origin, and the B cell origin having the associated with the recurrent genetic abnormality certain translocation are there, and here not otherwise specified. What are the recurrent genetic abnormality? Just like in AML, there are certain translocation. One of them like 922, that is associated with the BCR-ABL. Now, other one being 119, 50, 514, associated with the hyperdiploidy, associated with the hypodiploidy. All these are there, and there are some rearrangement has got poor prognosis, and some rearrangement has got good prognosis. Like hyperdiploidy has got good prognosis. And what is recent in this? The two things are, one thing is important, like BCR-ABL line. This is BCR-ABL exactly, but other one being BCR-ABL. This is included in, this is like, word like is not BCR exactly, and this is 2000, added in 2016 classification. Now, this is all about the precursor. And in T lymphoblastic precursor, not exactly precursor, but early T lymphoblastic leukemia lymphoma, and the other one be NK cell related leukemia of the lymphoma. And in the mature will come. So this is all about your, this is B lymphoblastic and T lymphoblastic leukemia are, because of coming under the precursor, so they are ALL, and this is, here is your CLL. So you, up to now you know that AML, where does AML, ALL, CML and CLL stand. This is all about the classification part. Now I am telling about the leukemia, main topic leukemia. How do we diagnose? How do we diagnose the leukemia? So coming to the main topic leukemia, how do we diagnose the leukemia? For diagnosis of the, before diagnosis of the leukemia, what is the epidemiology of the leukemia? So in epidemiology we will discuss about the race, age, and particular family, like whether it is common in white or black community. So leukemia is of two types. Acute leukemia is of two types, AML and ALL. So in epidemiology, AML is more common in elderly person, and ALL, acute lymphoblastic leukemia, is common in childhood. But second peak, one peak of the ALL arises in the childhood, but second peak may arise in the adult. That one is the second peak, and the prognosis is good when the age group is between the 1 to 10. If the age is less than 1 and greater than 10, the prognosis will be poor. And AML is more common in elderly person. ALL, that means it is related with the childhood, but not 100%. Second peak may arise in the adult. The other one, this is all, and the this is about the age group. Now coming the both are more common in male. Sex-wise, both are more common in the male, and both are more common in the white communities. Now other thing is, what is the pathogenesis? What is etiopathogenesis? In etiopathogenesis, we will discuss about the what are the factors will predispose for the person to be leukemic person. So these are the number one. By mnemonic also you can learn MAGICD, MAGICD, M for MDS related. I already told you in the classification also that secondary leukemia develop when the patient is previously having the MDS. So MDS, when the patient is having the MDS, secondly he develops the leukemia. A for when the patient is having acquired disorder like the PNH and aplastic anemia, paroxysmal nocturnal hemoglobinuria and the aplastic anemia, there is a more chances of leukemia. Now G for I for ionizing radiation, C for drug, C for chemicals, and D for drug, and G for genetic factor. These acquired disorder will lead to the leukemia. Like ionizing radiation, one of the most common example is the survival of the atomic bomb explosion in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. These people are more exposed for the leukemia because of the ionizing radiation. And X-rays are also very important for the factor for the leukemia. Other one thing is chemical. Certain drug when are given for the particular disease or particular leukemia, secondarily he developed the leukemia, like nitrogen related drug melphalan, chlorambucil when we are giving, secondarily he developed the leukemia. The drug related, and the other one is genetic. So genetic, already I told you in the AML classification, the AML related to the Down syndrome. When there is a genetic diseases that are there like Down syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome, Fanconi anemia, when these are there, the patient having the more chances to develop the leukemia. So this is all about the etiopathogenesis. This is about the epidemiology of the leukemia. Now I will discuss about how do we diagnose the leukemia. Commonly, how do we diagnose the leukemia? For diagnosis of the leukemia, 4 things are important. First, morphology and cytochemistry. Morphology and cytochemistry. Second one is immunophenotyping. Third one is cytogenetic, and fourth one being molecular genetic. So we diagnose the leukemia by morphology. Morphology means to see the cell under the microscope. Directly morphology. What is the morphology of the blast? Because acute leukemia having the blast percentage of the more than 20% according to the WHO classification, and according to the FAB classification they are having the more than 30% classification. So we have to see the blast under the microscope. And what are the characteristics of this blast? Blast having the high NC ratio. In case of the myeloid leukemia, the blast has open up like sea light, and compared to the lymphoid, in the lymphoid cases the chromatin is coarse, and nuclei also in the nucleus there is a nuclei. There are 2 to 3 or 4 nuclei in the myeloid series, while in the lymphoid series there are 1 to 2. And accompanying cell also. Accompanying cells, if they are of myeloid origin, so there is chances of myeloblast. When the accompanying cells are of the lymphoid origin, so there are chances of the lymphoblast. So by this morphology, we can diagnose which type of leukemia it is. Now, second one is cytochemistry. So these cells or blast cells have certain chemicals inside, certain enzymes and certain substances in their cytoplasm. So we have to detect this enzyme by the enzymatic reaction. So by using the certain stains, special stains, we diagnose them. These stains are, example, I will tell you, these stains are PAS. In cytochemistry, certain stains are there like PAS. By using this certain stain, we identify the particular cell like PAS. Other one is being MPO, Sudan black, NSE, that is non-specific esterase, and the acid phosphatase. These are there. The PAS is specific for the lymphoid leukemia. Means in the lymphoblast are PAS positive. Lymphoblasts are lymphoid. But few AML also, like in FAB classification you will get to know what is the classification of the FAB. So erythroid blast and few megakaryocytic blasts also show the PAS positivity, but they are fine granules are there, but here the block positivity. So the word block is important because lymphoblast show the block positivity, while M6 or M7, M6 is erythroblastic leukemia and M7 is megakaryocytic leukemia. They also show the positivity with PAS, but they are fine, having the fine. MPO and Sudan black is specific for the myeloid lineage. All the myeloid series will show the MPO positivity, and they both accompany, means कि जैसा MPO करेगा वैसे Sudan black will show the positivity. Other thing is non-specific esterase, NSE is positive in myeloid series की भी ये M4 और M5 category. M4 and M5 category is myelomonocytic leukemia and monocytic leukemia. जो monocytoid cells है, they will show the positivity with, means specifically in myeloid, means second panel अगर हम इस्तेमाल करें तो second panel, in the second panel monocytic series will show the positive with NSE. Acid phosphatase is specifically positive in T type of ALL, that is lymphoblastic leukemia, but T, because in classification I showed you T as well as BALL is there. So TALL will show the positivity with acid phosphatase. So pass for lymphoid, specifically for lymphoid, and also show positivity in M6 and M7, that is erythroid and megakaryocyte. MPO and Sudan black show the positivity for the myeloid series, and NSC for the M4 and N5, that is monocytic series, will show the positivity. And the second modality to diagnose the leukemia is immunophenotyping. What does the immunophenotyping mean? Immunophenotyping is certain these blast cells show the certain antigen on their cells. Antigens are there either on their surface or in the cytoplasm. To detect these antigens by using the monoclonal antibody. So there is antigen-antibody reaction will there, and we will detect whether these are of the blast cells or not, and which lineage. We will able to know the lineage also, whether B lineage, whether T lineage, whether this is myeloid, whether there is lymphoid. So it is helpful for us. We are able to know which lineage is there. So by immunophenotyping, we will able to know the lineage. Specifically, I will tell you, and immunophenotyping is of two types. Immunocytochemistry as well as flow cytometry. Flow cytometry, as the name flow, so we are using them in the flowing blood. Directly we are using the blood, and immunocytochemistry we are using on the smear, like blood smear, like bone marrow smear. So the reaction is seen in the smear for immunocytochemistry, and directly on the flowing blood under the flow cytometry. What are the markers? By example, I am showing you what are these markers. These markers are specifically named the CD, because these antigens are named according to the CD system. And what does CD mean? CD is cluster of differentiation, and these are accepted internationally. This CD system is like, by example, I am showing you CD1, CD2, CD3, CD4, CD5. These are for lymphoid cell, and in lymphoid specifically for T cell lineage, specific, because lymphoid series has got two T and B. So this marker will help to detect the T lineage cell. Now, other being the B, what are these markers? What are the marker of the B cell lineage? What are these CD marker? CD10, cytoplasmic CD22, cytoplasmic CD79. So these are CD19. So these are, CD means cluster of differentiation. These will help to detect this is lymphoid series, and in lymphoid subcategories of B cell lineage. So it is more helpful. Now then, what is for the myeloid lineage? This is because this is all about the lymphoid lineage. What are the markers for the myeloid lineage in the immunophenotyping? CD13, CD33, 117. These are for the myeloid, and the glycophorin, hemoglobin, all these are the markers. So by these immunophenotyping, we can able to reach up to the lineage. We can characterize the cell. Now, third modality to diagnose the blast cell is cytogenetic. What is cytogenetic? It is cytogenetic as well as molecular genetic, that is the study of the chromosomes. It is just more closer analysis of the chromosome, that is at the level of the gene. In certain AML as well as ALL also, I showed you recurrent genetic abnormality. So at the gene level there is a translocation. So this we can able to diagnose via the molecular genetic, because at the gene level, like in example RUNX1, RUNXT11. So what is this? This is by the help of the molecular genetic. And cytogenetic, just broad view, like by doing karyotyping and DNA ploidy status, like whether there is any deletion in the chromosome, whether any duplication in the chromosome, aneuploidy is there or not. So by cytogenetic we can just view whether there is chromosomal abnormality is there or not. So this is all about how do we diagnose the leukemia.